XRP holders, the countdown begins. Deal or no deal. And we're moving to 24 hours, 7 days a week. You'll understand all of those statements very, very soon. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, money makers. Let's get straight into it. Please read the disclaimer. I think there might be ghosts here. A door just closed. I think it's from the wind. Right now, XRP and the crypto market might be at its lowest point. We might be very, very close to rock bottom. What does this mean? Does this mean that we could soon start seeing a flipperoo? There's high probability that that happens, but what needs to go on before that? Right now, the fear isn't that extreme. I think in the next few days, if the price action continues that we're seeing right now with XRP at $1.26, breaking to its lowest point since we had February 5th, February 6th, right? Those levels, we are at the lowest point, but of course, it's not just XRP. Bitcoin just broke 70,000 a few minutes ago. This scenario that we talked about is playing out, right? The pullback, then the recovery, and then the sell-off. So that exact scenario is playing out. We talked about the potential of 68,724 would be a potential range here for Bitcoin to drop to. And then, of course, if that gets broken all the way back down to 65,000, Bitcoin is still in a better situation than the rest of the crypto market. Even Ethereum is doing a little bit better. But if you go and you look at Solana, basically same levels, Cardano, lower levels, right? And others, AVAX, basically same level. So right now, XRP, similar action to everything else. And right now, again, if XRP drops all the way down back to these $1 level, we have to think to ourselves, okay, as the countdown starts and we're in the month of potential of the Clarity Act passing, is this an opportunity or not? And again, you have to make that decision. I can't make that decision for you, but to some people that might look very, very juicy. To other people that might look like an opportunity to run to the hills. You have to decide what's good for you. Most of the time, what happens is retail runs away. And where does it run? It's running towards the stock market right now and towards the amazing movements that we're seeing in these AI stocks. By the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to the stock channel, now is a good time to do that because we're doing there also videos about stock market. I just talked about 7 stocks yesterday, and many of them went up over 10% the day after. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So make sure to check out that. You can see here the new stock channel, right? I'll link to it in the description down below. But we're also continuing crypto XRP content because I've been in these kinds of scenarios before when it looks like all is over and things are looking grim, right? I've been here multiple times when we were down at 15,000 Bitcoin in the end of 2022. People, January 23, people were like, "Oh, you're crazy. What are you talking about crypto? Look at it's all the way down at 15,000." I was like, this is a big opportunity, and it ended up being that. I think we're in similar territory right now, especially if Clarity Act passes. But we are in a critical situation. This is, make it or break it kind of just from a price action in the short term, not long term, but short term. And I'll tell you why I don't think long term in just a second. But today, Clarity Act enters a critical 4-week window as Senate returns to Washington. The U.S. Senate is expected to resume work on the Clarity Act this week as lawmakers return from Memorial Day recess. Why they get a whole week? Right? I don't know. Regular people get a day, I don't know. Shenanigans, right? Giving crypto market structure legislation a narrow window to advance before the 4th of July break. If delayed into next year, this bill could face a very different political landscape after the midterm elections. And that's why it's so important for it to get passed now. Now, it doesn't mean that if it doesn't get passed now, it won't get passed later. but the probabilities decrease significantly because we know if you get a Republican president and a Democrat Senate, then it's problems. There's problems, right? And so we know that a lot of the Democrats are on that side of nay, but some of them are on the side of yay. And of course, Republicans are pro this bill. So there's high probability that if we get this cooking over the next few weeks, it will pass. I'm still going to be optimistic about it. And so when I look now at the market, it's a very interesting opportunity, right? And we'll see how this plays out. Now, we still have the current Iran-US situation. Before that, just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. So if we look at what President Trump thinks he will have a deal with Iran to, rewind. President Trump says he thinks he will have a deal with Iran to extend the ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz over the next week, according to ABC News. Trump says he are still a few more points to get to for a deal. Just a week ago, he said, oh, shortly, right? I still think that the issue here is the yields. He's trying to prolong this as long as he can to reduce the yields enough that he can either go all in or pull all the way out. And so now it's just like a wait and see. And usually the markets don't like wait and see. The crypto market definitely doesn't like this wait and see scenario. But the stock market, because so much money is coming in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that on the stock channel, is holding so strong. But there's uncertainty right now, and if there's uncertainty on Iran and there's uncertainty on the Clarity Act, this is why we're seeing the crypto market continues to sell off. But on the flip side, Schwab, I got this message too. It said, want an early look at Schwab crypto? They sent out messages about how they're rolling out crypto trading on Schwab. It says most people won't move money out of Charles Schwab to buy crypto. They'll buy crypto if Schwab brings it to them. This is how adoption actually happens. And so when you have a straight street to the asset, right? Think about it. Many people, they have the money in their accounts. Now, many people use Schwab. It's real easy to buy crypto now with the same money you were buying stocks with. So if people are looking now and saying, oh, the crypto market is totally undervalued, this could be an opportunity for me to maybe take some profits from these stocks that have been running so beautifully and take that risk of the buy the rumor, sell the news type of action that could come in the next coming weeks into the Clarity Act. Could this be the bottom? That's why I'm thinking about this. Like long term, you see Schwab offering crypto. Like crypto will be here no matter what. People are going to want to own it. People are going to want to trade it all around the world. The Clarity Act just makes it easier for the US to facilitate crypto and to make America the crypto capital of the world. The rest of the world is going to continue to operate the same. The only thing that the Clarity Act is going to change is how the US touches crypto, right? But the rest of the world is the same. What people are hoping that if the Clarity Act passes, similar laws will pass in other countries. But we don't know what's going to happen. Political situation in the US is different than the political situation in the UK, although it might be flipping there. I know 10% of you are from the UK, so you know what I'm talking about. The last elections, what happened with Starmer and everything, but we'll see. Okay, I don't know. It looks like the Republicans will be able to pass it. It's not like something that, oh, suddenly all the Republicans are going to fall out and they're going to change their opinions. No, but we always have to be ready for the possibility that that's not going to happen. Okay. Interesting update here from CME Group and Ripple. You can see Mike Higgins says, and we're off. CME Group is officially live with 24/7 crypto futures and option trading, providing around-the-clock access to crypto derivatives. Ripple Prime is a day one clearing and financing partner supporting always-on markets. Fun fact, XRP futures were the fastest ever contracts in CME to cross 1 billion in open interest, achieving that in just 3 months last year. The institutional demand is here, and now so is the infrastructure. So Ripple and Ripple Prime are now facilitating the 24/7 regulated crypto futures and option trading. Ripple Prime is the clearing partner. Institutional demand meets institutional infrastructure built for always on markets. And so this is going to potentially help facilitate the XRP trading, the future trading, the Bitcoin trading, remember, there's going to be no more CME gap. Remember, we talked a lot about the gap and the gap up and how the gap always closes and things like that. And we haven't talked about that actually in a while because there haven't really been many gaps. And if there have been gaps, they've been super duper small. You can see, like I'm looking right now, and I don't see any gap outside of this gap down that we had at 87,000. So maybe that means, I don't know if you guys can see it right here. So I don't know this. Remember, gaps always close for Bitcoin. So the question is, are we going to close back to 84,000? Remember, we never thought that the other gaps would close to 80,000, and then another one that we had here at 80,000, and they eventually closed. So could there potentially be a turnaround again with Clarity Act and a potential short squeeze and up close that gap? Because of the 24/7 shift here, there's going to be no more gaps because the gap always was created because there was no trading on the weekend in the CME futures. So that whole closing the gap theory is going to be out the window. But we still have one more gap. So does that tell us that it's going to get closed, or is the market going to forget about that? Forget about it. That's going to be very interesting. We'll see here how this day plays out. Again, there is kind of a feeling that we hit rock bottom, that the sentiment, that the feeling around the crypto market as it is at its lowest point. Even though if you go into the crypto fear and greed index, it's at 23, which is not too low. But I think that if we continue to pull back here, we're going to see into the teens. We haven't been in that area since April 13th. So what was the price of Bitcoin on April 13th? Let's take a look, and then we can kind of know where potentially we were at April 13th. Yeah, so we're about the same level here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we stay down here. We're going to see the fear get back into the teens. And then, what does that mean? Again, last time we were in extreme, eventually we did have a nice run up off of that, about 25%. Again, it's not the percentages that we want, right? I know when we're seeing stocks, pop 25% in a day. But we know that the crypto market can flip in a hurry. We saw this last year. And so anything can happen, anything can change. I still think that we might see some fake outs. We might see some run-ups. I don't know, but we're getting the clock is ticking towards that July 4th. And then the question is, how is the market going to react to the Clarity Act potentially passing? If it does, and that's going to be very interesting over the next few months. Let me know in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think this is going to play out like I said, like I'm thinking, that we run up into the Clarity Act and then, oh, I'm losing my voice. And then we kind of sell off a little bit, but then maybe a short squeeze. What do you think is going to be the combination? Do you think we're just going to consolidate until it actually passes and no pre-buying the potential passing of the law? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.